Please remain seated. Come to order. Those involved in law enforcement handling this case and dealing with having an opinion with this case. Reflector field we have up. Cartoon phenomena. You want to tell a lie about police department, sheriff units, and make death threats to me and incapacitate me because you're caught being an alien, degenerate, murderer every day in other dimensions. We call this form right here retardation, like an anti-god telling a lie. That's why I'm suing you. You really need to get the death sentence. Nothing to do with terrorist threat. Something to say about presenting evidence to a higher court's need to protect themselves from your kind. Enemy, I hate. Enemies, I hate. Telling lies every day about this event's authenticity. They need to be taken out really bad because they do seditious acts of treason and murder every day to my kind. Enemies, I hate. With a passion, too. These men right here, all the people you see here are aliens. All the people. I'm the only lone human. All that nuclear weapons, all those big problems with military, lone human, I said right. You want to tell a lie about. And say you didn't understand and hear the telepathy we've had for 20 years with the cartoon phenomena, law enforcement. Jive me so you could do sodomic butt-fucking reproach in the cemetery, motherfuckers. I hate garbage like you, and I always will. You need to be taken out because I don't need to go. You need to go. The town's not big enough for the both of us and our opinions. Nothing to do with a lady, all to do with a pervert, queer, degenerate motherfucker in another dimension doing fucked up shit. Pigs, wild animals from hell places, worse than hell. No, don't know your ass from your elbow. About propulsion, direction, and law. And do nothing to do with the law. Enemies I hate and want dead really bad.
Causes of judgment: legal actions against the County of Orange, California. Preface. 1. As clearly laid out in this descriptive and courtroom evidence exhibit, A. Cartoon phenomena is visible on map. Binding topography here situated means, the entities, the image, the vision and s/or act of God's Almighty, deposes criteria of phony assertion bringing to courts. 2. The above and under entitled exhibitions alleges, in direct violation of U.S. laws, a magistrate ns the accused did see our character witness and with an intention of inflicting rape, assault, and seditious acts of treason, tried prohibited predicate and unlawful countermeasures. 3. If in its own regarded, a communist leader's concerted atomic conspiracy's readiness to dislodge our tenants' residents the subject of same double sides to live their lives as U.S. counterparts, the fallacies of this ingenuous detention bring may be researched. 4. The cartographic topography and global intrinsic telepathy with all citizens, this means deaf, dumb, blind, afflicted and sheriff detention bring candor who neither describe this material fact and resort to altercating us with mental health deceivers because of their double side to live their lives as degenerate and daily rapist murderers as we speak. These outlaws in disguise do hell aside to the human anatomy in interdimensional placard destinations they procreate from dunder to call a sepulchre away in the place of life everlasting defined as non-degenerate virus and pro-life interests. 5. If as suchly the word of wafer adages a contention to build thereupon, oppose neither a sequester nor an photographic display that is heaven sent unless you want Steve to situate prism hold and slash or electric current diplomacy for the deputies I hate. 6. In an effort to be of service and s moreover in regarded as factual, that of acute hearing perception s, otherwise explained in public defenders' offices as, telepathic like communion s between relay assuagements and trusted opposition, these are the grounds for tentative dismissal of phony detention bring depictions and cause for celebration, did we see so Wardley? 7. If seditious acts of treason is an ugly word to decide police and sheriff units in care coordinators regard are in league with the devil and when it all seems wrong, kill the beast and fight in courts with words of a lawman in connection with a resource that we see and suchly the subject of arrange the pieces as they come, one by one will continue. 8. A district attorney is a false front for Lucifer to these aims we see. On one hand these individuals pretend to be upstanding citizens, but we seated and vindicated our firm and uncontested conviction as noted. 9. Due to the factual adages that of their double side to live their lives as the said evilest degenerate and regression aliens in interplanetary and interdimensional physical existence, the subjects of destination placard and life everlasting will continue to be an integral part of the obligations we live and seek s. 10. In so describing, these are the said character flaws of fictitious people and if our holy and board certifiable acquittals and reprieves is not enough to remove the doubts and the threats and doubts persist, our involvement may concert a tentative need to, be that assimilation of evolution and integration stepping stones if we see straight and are in our eyes to work out the distance between senses for the sake of expertise and youth. If applicable. Petitioner prays for peace to be spoken. Morning meditation. Morning comes with a breath of fresh air and the night has memories to clear, there's always a war we can lose, winning is only for fools therefore go with God in sickness and in health and with these gifts we'd love to share. Amen. Pages under construction. The litigants. November 2, 2015. The people of the United States of America. Represented by aka Stephen Van Arroyo DBA. Stephen V. Schaffer Plaintiffs. V.S. Defendants. The County of Orange, California. Sheriff Department Probation Department. Collaborative Courts Esquire. That of Telecare with ANDS. Mental Health Department OC. Is a U.S. attorney liable for damages that of county escrow? Defined. Chapters 1. The Punitive Damages Statute. 1. Is the above and under entitled California Civil Code Statute on Punitive Damage a lie? Claimants, s. Evidence to suggest the counties of Orange, California do still and done wrongfully prohibited predicate and culpable violations are certifiable recollected and in accordance with the foregoing statutes which read as follows. 2. California Civil Code Section 3294, which states as follows. In an action for the breach of an obligation not arising from contract, where it is proven by clear and convincing evidence that the defendant has been guilty of oppression, fraud, or malice, the plaintiff, in addition to the actual damages, may recover damages for the sake of example and by way of punishing the defendant. Oppression is defined as despicable conduct that subjects a person to cruel and unjust hardship in conscious disregard of that person's rights. Fraud means intentional misrepresentation or deceit. Malice is defined as conduct which is intended by the defendant to cause injury to the plaintiff or that shows a willful and conscious disregard of the rights or safety of others. Count 1. Title 18 Part INGT, Chapter 79 1621. Previous Next. 1621. Perjury generally. Defined. A. Having taken an oath before a competent tribunal, officer, or person, in any case in which a law of the United States authorizes an oath to be administered, that he will testify, declare, depose, or certify truly, or that any written testimony, declaration, deposition, or certificate by him subscribed, is true, willfully and contrary to such oath states or subscribes any material matter which he does not believe to be true, or b. in any declaration, certificate, verification, or statement under penalty of perjury as permitted under Section 1746 of Title 28, United States Code, willfully subscribes as true any material matter which he does not believe to be true, is guilty of perjury and shall, except as otherwise expressly provided by law, be fined under this title or imprisoned not more than 5 years, or both. This section is applicable whether the statement or subscription is made within or without the United States. Chapter 1. The said facts and unlawful proprieties of perjuries taken. 1. In so situating a gun has words to lie for and in views we seated as in its own regarded observation and opinions expressed, the subject that of seditious acts of treason, we saw, the people of the county of Orange, California assumed a liability in which we seated a victim of said wit court's aspirations and s tentative desire to falsify the docket in an effort to construe not a liability. 2. The fullness of their envy is neither an excuse to design an abetment, that of crime and terror nor describe never a good and relevant matter we saw deputies are in fact the evilest Luciferian-like degenerate aliens, here's how to tell. 3. A despicable desire that of fornicate improper, the animal life we notices are dungaree disregard and degenerate aliens I see hell-bent in areas that of deceive beyond human comprehension with the likenesses of Satan. We noticed your intended victim's reflector field mechanics has an interceptor resource by which to resurrect a good image, that of truth, justice, and the American way in an effort to collaborate more effectively so contended. 4. Of this moreover, county detention purposely and with the intent to institutionalize or imprison, failed to convey an iota of relevant and factual meaning as to wit ESQ or county lockup for fear they'll notice their soul-snatching plans. That and because county detention seeks can of tuna we see I stock and for all regarded opinions expressed disconcerted appropriate accord the example as set are in continental computer algorithms phony or not. 5. I saw county council take up a side that of the disbelief to assimilate an effort to endorse a cow manure lip server's a tentative need to razz in areas by which to come clean for and said deputies assigned either have some conniving to situate because of their false pretenses by which to accuse you/me/us. In seeing the wrong footing depose all a global telepathic godly intervention can decide due to the suggested double side to live their lives, as described by a court we envisioned. 6. In further from the relevance we contend for these degenerate aliens, the police and sheriff units I say get off by wasting human-like individual we see souls? With a passion of likeness to that of wildcat dogs and many more reptilian rat dunder happy to be a free lifestyle as we see we say, live, and contrive in enemy infantry for me to interpret not a face. 7. Able to transform their physical appearance in a single offer and disguised as your mother, father, sisters, and brothers you say are indeed convicted alcohol/drug offenders and counselors of phony religious stories, all the king's horsemen and all the king's men and the fullness of earth, wines, fires, oceans, atomic know-hows, platform mechanics, said universal interdimensional and interplanetary disease-like affliction are calculating aggressor phonies to their needs here in situate an ethic calling us, descriptive and code in star-based internal command communications and intercepts inter alia despicate if we are in our own eyes to project and countermeasure. 8. So by saying perjury will decide, clearly a cause for condescending and acute hearing residential poor and despite ironies that of US/Soviet leaders lead an inside and crooked opposition to every syllable of witness protection contention/combined with an extraterrestrial name we know as Israel deceive if I caught to each his own avoided our audio and visual relative courtroom evidence exhibits and engages in poisoning ethic conducive to they who teach ethical and clinical psychiatric principles is why we ward off police discharges a weapon when they're to seek fellow American presidents alky and phony I do the way I hear of the care coordinators' involvement to swindle, lie, intimidate, and hinder these proceedings is funny. 9. In an effort to situate a higher mass and a stronger flag when I do is a subject care coordinator doesn't describe, the mental health clinics do seat or see Judge Williamson stay or vindicate a witness accounting to the transgressions of phony lawyer credentials, all talk, can't understand in defense of their characterized and sodomic regression desires on this plane and their bouts within the confines of interdimensional and interplanetary co-existence. 10. By these accorded pretenses the interplanetary creatures in question formed an opinion throughout the years of our conscious reputation to design an affiliation to that of truth, justice, and freedom. In arduously what is this that stands before us at courthouses? Lord, I did say. A meal deterrence action I'll vigils need to cross paths to offer a way to fight for Dungaree Dunder, and stupefy the status quo that of our intercept services and act as if as though every and any excuse is cause to kill a discovery of replica citizens pretending to be associated with God, the non-degenerate alien sides. 11. By these fallacies and backstabbing conniving women's attire we see the persons in charge of our communities alongside Secret Service's rancor, abandoned every moral to rescind on their sworn oaths and pledges to our judges' predications. By word of excellence the police nearby harbor a killer's desire to inherit solely spirited placard destinations and offer hell and death as phase advancement criteria. 11. Do we see transcripts of our stated factual accounting is that of a phony transcription ring used to decide all to do with deceive alone human individual and offer inconsiderate condemnation as to what we said will take asides from the said fleeing felons at Kurt's topic we researched the phony mental deceivers discount our work ethics and for reasons I catch in the act right now ongoing. 12. Who is like unto the wild cats and dogs of yesteryears gone? The county leading the Antichrist and anti-equation desires act out truancy and were cited and released failures to appear at the most reverent and supreme courts of Judge William P. Williamson's, attention sir. Is a matter to flee like a felon and offer a solution of prejudicial and discriminating destitution credits with all parties involved to that of which is of greatest importance. 13. The violations we hear weigh more than the measure of perjury. In so calling to the stand we see additional code violations such as murder, mayhem, kidnap, fraud, obstructing justice, cover-up, seditious acts of treason, conspiracy to commit aggravated murder and intercepted tries to launch acts to swindle and kill our claimant, petitioner, host, witness, and victims abused. The hereby accused take notice. 14. The individual capacities each to their candid expressions of I plead the fifth are said lived in area of research. When cross-examined each and every individual capacity named in this recollection of material concert a false disregard to the significance of propensities problems to lie for, each one to his understanding of I did tell a lie in an effort to conceal what kind of human they really are so contending. These are my friends I say. Can't live with them and can't live without them not knowing which side to stand thereupon. 15. In their recollection of assessment team's phony depiction of a stated, divine-like intervention, aided by visual, court exhibits, made clear to the public by these his/our presence, the Huntington Beach, Police Department, the Sheriff Department counties where I resided, and all ensigns of extradition a matter to cut a deal for I say anyway asking? 16. Regardless of the differences of opinions and with those differences to adjust for and so long as the will to consider, upgrades, new builds, improvements in alien technologies, some friendly completion, the institution of women to see, should all acquaintances be forgotten and noted as funny to consider and sport an impunity award of the such to see, in accordance with this paragraph and to avoid condemnation of a said allegations willfully with intent to incapacitate, obstruct justice, cover up the facts, swindle and falsify the record and talk cowboy dungaree good to see in contradiction to that of a good lord's profound and personal dislikes so contended. 17. Clearly indisputable offenses the following individuals most culpable, a day in court did decide district attorney is in contempt for what we tested at Sheriff Hutchens curricula who did oversee ICBM launch tries and cloak and dagger ploys to outsmart and abet in these inexcusable behaviors and code enforcement violations. The stipulated accused being sued are suchly. 1. Anthony Rackakaus, are sued in his official and individual capacity. Patricia Schude, are sued in her official and individual capacities. Wendy S. Lindley are sued in her official and individual capacity. Santa Ana Secret Service Detachment, are sued each in their official and individual capacity to faithfully discharge an oath of allegiance. These individuals I see resort to terroristic aiding and abetment and facilitation of high crimes against the Republic for which we seek punitive Damages. 2. Orange County Probation, are sued in this their official and collective capacities. James R. Pink, are sued in his official and individual capacity. Alice Jones, are sued in her official and individual capacity. Ramiro Gonzalez, are sued in his official and individual capacities. Stephen Andrews, are sued in his official and individual capacity. They desire a fight to all we demonstrated as contemptuous mockeries. In furtherance, these sworn officers of the court do dunder and seditious acts of treason per units of candor, swindle and perfidies, indirect violation of these iotas of their official and collective capacity to protect and preserve the Constitution and the laws by they were sworn to protect and serve, by which we stand acquitted. 3. Orange County Sheriff Department, are sued each individual to this sequester and affidavit of involvement. Sandra Hutchens, are sued in her official and individual capacity. Orange County Board of Supervisors, are sued in their official and individual capacity. John Moorlash, are each sued in these areas of mislead and perjure to the offices of presidential reluctance in their official and individual capacities, in that of Mr. Pink's swindle, witness intimidating candor, and the agencies aiding abetments in seditious acts of treason in this area of these their official and collective capacity to desert the Constitution of the United States of America and the laws by which they were sworn to protect, in view of a God's ruling by which we stand acquitted. 4. Also named are they of collaborative partners ESQ, inter alias Whitcourt, are sued all together in unity, each in their official and collective capacities. Orange County Superior Courts, are sued each judge to their recollection of official business hereby. West Courts, are sued including Ted Mallard and Sarah Jones, each judge on call per units of candor, swindle and perfidies in this area of their official and collective capacity to protect and preserve the Constitution and the laws by which we stand acquitted. 5. Orange County Mental Health, are sued in their official and individual capacities, each attending physicians, clinician, and staff stories to talk not a biblical event, in the face of surmounting reprisals here at assignments in their official and individual capacities. The identical reasons for the of MHA WID program, including name not disclosed, in their official and individual capacities. 6. Telecare WID Corporation, are sued in this their official and individual capacities, each attending physicians, clinicians, and staff stories to tell lies and falsify diagnosis, doctors' reports, liable character, and aid in an inexcusable abetment that of seditious acts of treason against a United States citizen, in the face of surmounting reprisals here at assignments in their official and individual capacities, deity to decided official and individual capacities to their dissenting candors. 7. It will be noted, seditious acts of treason means fraud in each and every case the hereby accused commit and directed. OC Sheriff Department, OC Probation Departments, these and all OC mental facilities caring for the accused do fraudulent aiding and abetment with the criminals, inmates, drug courts, judges, staff this and clients who are degenerate aliens in disguise in on IT and are nothing to do with legitimately ill and falsely diagnosed receiving treatment. All in on the replica human sodomic regression swindle, orientations and double sides to live their lives, as so noted our Judge Antzee, who abhors degenerate deceptive and mishandling of men, women and children to these areas of condemnation at the lip service and pretend to be confused judges and cops to these material facts that of a telepathic godly foe telepathically deters the police practices and mobs by intercepts and acquit this our state and seated objections. As suchly described so contended on this day the 2nd of November 2015 for a transcript recorded areas of fuss never a side. Paragraphs 1 through 30 of this entry on court admissible ledger hereby describe details to which edifies the ongoing topic, the names of individuals most responsible for the said insults and a suggested criminal behaviors indicative of the present and binding legal arbitrations do I seek and construe. 1. The courtroom ledger for which I stood here and stated my seated and excused from attending, do perjure the material facts, as we situate as a settlement verdict despite objection from a court lawyer who disconcerts attention to the godlike global telepathy, 20 or more years continuous. 2. The courts described neither telepathic intrinsic police line communication nor cartoon phenomena topography that has manifested itself in every ear, deaf, dumb and blind actors included. In so citing the three cute clinicians I notice, Eden Martelli, Lana Trapp and Sarah Wolfo 30 years to life sentences concurrent in our preliminary assessment. 3. The victims may be willing to consider special sentencing arrangements by way of blood work. The very conniving and abusive actresses are willing to debate neither stays nor vindication pardons in recent attempts to take into custody. A telltale sign of the mental clinic's desire to conspire perfidy with mental health rights advocates who decided work at restaurant will do you good neither described detention bring in court and are detained from making arrest tries on a disadvantaged self-professed host witness for the prosecution who we see as God on Africa's map topography and with the intentions of sodomic rape and hell are awaiting a break in the case is not really a mental health advocates to decide Sarah Cutie Pie. By the way, prison time at Chowchilla is funny. To all he. For the deputies and court-appointed lawyer did take notice of God the judge's decision to intercept fleeing deputies from uncounted attempts to apprehend, yet clinicians seem to feel cat and wild animal double sides to live its lives more advantageous than halfway decent mankind's. 5. Is this the work ethics of the judges on record, that of cute Wendy Suzanne Lindley and Joe Perez to deal dunder adages? The convicted and released assail another conviction and try out of court I see. They defy a good God's given authority to say, stay, and vindicate? Clearly as a result of being released on their own recognizance. These, the recidivist impostors, harbor resentment against their friends Steve N.S. the polite God Antzee Dancy and do situate kill us mentality and elected to offer the door to the rescue again. 6. So if the deputies come back empty-handed again I want to see the marshals/bailiffs prepare the cuffs for troublemakers in connection with contempt and attempted kidnap/murder tries. If applicable. 7. The root of all evil stemming from police discourse with mental health clinicians, OC/WIT courts and probation leading a scrimmage to poison and cut off SSI as a solidarity maneuver and views expressed as counterpoint. It will be situated with the good lords and Steve law firm. The parties to this impus will be in the company of the good hands people, so get excited with the word before a snare envelop and the word of wafer gives ear to another allegorical symposium. Do we see Mr. Pink/Gonzalez/and Andrews fit of rages kick come undone again? 8. If allocate a friendly award or supplemental is concerted, the cruel finger pointing will be replaced with more regarded integration evolution pertinences is all we have to go on, folks. Added these undisclosed condescending remarks culminated from the litigants' areas of fuss, confuse and aggravate mayhem. 9. In an effort to construe neither guns nor mental health advocates stipulated reprisals I say will deter a fallacy of dunder phony calls to my attention. As we well notice, county lockup have no real say in the very likable clinicians' desires to double-cross this their suggested reckless ideas of love and human understanding so contended. 10. As a result of the double side to live their lives theory, the hereby accused continuously describe neither God of aliens and Jews alike s. So by adding insult to injuries the matters at hand are to be decided in case-by-case basis at court si the judge s. King of Kings, God Almighty, to clarify our successes with mood stabilizer medications and their indication in response to that of police desires to convey falsified doctrines of years past and slither like that of reptiles and recidivist troublemakers. If applicable. 11. The boy he's got a nerve verdict we hears can despond to wild alien animal need to throw a blow to see if an authority either premeditates to take a cheap shot on the grounds of attention needed by accused is abuse and misconduct by police and deputies if we are to negate the subliminal and welcomed integration and modification answers. 12. Will I take credit for the fake gun I bought to insult the phony emblems? Talk of neither concerted a counter-terror stand nor tentatively describe a cartographic topography telepathy event consisting of filmed consensus to vindicate not a possession charge to kick around when described with court ledgers as complete fraud in every case they serviced. 13. All drug courts and deputies inferior candor deal and manufacture tar heroin Wendy O cutie pie we hears. The so-called rehabilitation counselors of record and drug courts ranker do organize the sales, manufacture and distribution along with narcotics offices and vice in their conspiracy to do away my soul. These collaborators falsify every case along with tenants and apartment managers who in theories are neither mentally ill nor are they a needy poor blue soul unless they're on case-by-case basis doing us right. So stipulated. Analysis. Is this perjury and seditious acts of treason a cause for victims abused to present their own defenses? Does the said trespass call for change and revision met? Does the buyer beware adages take on a new meaning having researched the matter? Will the evil aliens in disguises finger-pointing be resituated with minimal, friendly, creative and reciprocal ways of protecting and serving a community? If applicable, should we work the program and try as we may to falsify neither a debit irony nor declassify the integration and formal information sharing aimed at self-improvements, I say? Is that of a reflection and mirrored understanding cause to reaccess the said lies we set aside when reckoning a society of wild animal? 14. These actions by county aggressors, in an effort to construe neither a telepathic lord having a say nor a visual aid, expressly denied our involvement and subject matter of possible public safety resources. Clearly a predicate act of intolerance when telepathic acute police lines have been ongoing about 25 years. Asides all notice the visual exhibits of said cartoon phenomena, in their deliberate ways of trying to duel a fact, on the table at law courts, I say. 15. As suchly described and encountered when a county supervisors uses telepathy to lift service a detention unit to call my cell phones and talk crap in an effort to deed perfidies, anti-God dunder, adages neither a vision nor a telepathic police radio should a lengthy prison sentence be intercepted routinely. 16. If the said cute psychiatrists, Dr. Pickard, seems to think it necessary to facilitate a church upheaval or FBI fictitious rantings to justify her administer uncomfortable injectable psych meds, in area of never know her real desires, should she be sentenced 30 years to life or offered a few blood work sessions. 17. The nice Dr. Horgans, psychiatrist at Telecare Tau South actually has been polite and non-malicious comparatively speaking. However, it has been told us the people who in fact are to tell the truth and note human behavior and rights as well, with a recollection of the facts we have up in courts, these psychiatric neither advocate for my release on the grounds of innocent nor by the propensity or weight of the suggested audio and visual aid we see falsely diagnosed as hallucination theories. Is this willful and malicious antagonism? Is she good for blood work, boss? 18. When as such is accounted for and in view of past reprisals and fair settlement offer is reasonable grounds to reassert an integration policies? The accused delay a finding in favor of ever so repeating the past. In areas that of prejudicial and discriminatory threats on my life, liberties and civil discourses the phony secret services, deputy wit, and probation in particular done prohibited use of a said photos, televisions, computers, nor gadgets suchly to construe never your word irrelevant matter. 19. When in the course of human evolution theories it becomes necessary to differentiate from folders content and having so convinced a judge of these their criminal and hostile behaviors that of seditious acts of treason aimed at solely spirited capture and regressions a fair and purposeful sentencing remand meant a matter. A sentence adjudication aimed at preventative recidivist desires we see still at wit court a fraud in each and every case it services. 20 entities, catches judges on call, Orange County mental health affiliates, sheriff, and police departments in our vicinities attempting to swindle a faulty finding and arrest an invaluable witness and host for the facts so indicated, abuses of alien technologies, at our attention. 21 Wit Court, sheriff's departments, county probation, and telecare mental health services, is the sensitivity of the matter in view confusing our iota of responsibility? Here why telecare Tau South reps, my friends we might add, does try as we may to stay clear. These areas of fuss are an invite to prison if I catch district attorneys calling my home with devil's desires. This said communication line is being properly identified as a police and military line of communication. Our objective is to protect and serve the interest of all that come endowed with moral and ethical character so stated. 22 A light mental health challenge descript might allow the parties to be close yet so apart, these doctors first ups would make lovely wives for some nice lucky gent. Did we say blood work a fair exchange of evaluation if I see continued regret as funny a but to the matter by that of transfusion a rumor we hear? Other areas of consideration ad libid. Therefore trust and believe a better policy than we see and a user-friendly conative for when we seek additional support or limited interests in future endeavor or lessons in learning. 23. The record will reflect this. One hand we like to size secret weapon, on the other hand we like to see organized and offer gentlemen-like residential poor. So that these under consideration share the entity who by talks to your thoughts and exacts contentions that of bad or despicable thought, if that is what a speaker has to share, we may receive the blessings of police communication line, and Secret Service Navy intelligence duties. So please don't tease with bad intentions across the lines and use some discretion somewhat. 24. The said consideration of subject's longevity may constitute grounds for involvement in dialogue more so than you care to understand. Texas Governor. Consider assimilation and a factus-minded report due to the presence of other space travelers' dimensions and awarenesses and appetites for lying conniving judges. Outcomes simply stated. 25. So when concerting attendance in areas of diplomatic relations, police and others, consider using discretion in voicing any said thoughts that would give yourself away as disingenuous. It will be recommended to declassify this program as encoded sensitive, as such commanding units may consider limiting said liberties to conscripts. 26. Analysis. The subject of today's Twitter research. Are we made, caught, USA Armies and police departments being the same unit of a perverted regression desire alien creature as the Red Armies? George Bush's and the Clintons calling underworld double size a lot? That of which I see and lone human at life expectancy concern will continue to fight for truth, justice, and the American way, even such to regarded US as same size as ISIS Red Armies. The same alien all in one in many. All the President's Secret Service's decals conniving faulty fit of rage's candor to move in and depose. All the President's same iota of fool all you can so contended. OSD FBI CIA OJCS Navy Secretaries NSAOC Sheriff Departments Lockers State Department OC Jailers Attorney General's Quarter County of Orange Escrow Recidivist Dungaree Attired Secret Service Police telling a law to do treachery and seditious acts of treason to my/RFACES one in many aliens said to be conceived from Stephen's said father's absence or shameful regret. 27. If this holds true to a certain degree, the adages of no real rifts with Russia or ISIS is cause for condescending of but results-oriented dialogue. Now there take pride of these his presence and our omnipotent creation? Consider the meddling perspective if you display emotional discomfort with a good Lord's prayers and a tentative concerted effort to integrate and procreate a more suitable placard destination than all you offered, which is nothing more than hell district attorneys of record. Also noted, consider the role and patience of our judge and honorable juries we seat in the absence of law at court we seek. 28. We may construe a little friendly fire under the bridge is good for character and escape catch clause. The testimonial and facts supported in the above and entitled accounts and descriptions are hereby concerted to apply all ensigns to some extents. The preceding section in and though used rarely are properly identified as courtroom evidence and official and most updated revision ments. 29. A United States of America County of Orange, California venue whereby a plaintiff resided is required to duly uphold and protect the laws. Although supplemental security has added an extensions of life's predication, the recommended funding is supposedly either county judgments, a said impunity award, Department of the Navy controller options, the Treasury Department or other, in an effort to describe and quantify accurate information. 30. So if an agency decided or was obligated fund an allocation, it will be suggested to kindly reimburse the nice and helpful folks at SSI Commissioners a tentative need to resituate a claimant's in controversial but pertinent records. We see this petition as just and reasonable to assess. Done November 2, 2015, 10:38 a.m. PST 92,655. Pages under construction noted this manuscript may be visited in view of its possible legitimate discovery. An open invitation for other legal issues such like the Despeak Treaty is an integral part of these manuscripts' intended purposes. DespeakTreaty.blogspot.com. Federal Army and government agreed to allow local jurisdiction to supplicate and respond in the said interest of national security and avoid an embarrassment on Capitol Hill. Yet county detectives seek a difference of opinion. I see. Chapter 3 defining violations and particular description of said counts. Further, the above and named defendants are failures to appear at entities court and do situate local residents and law officers to counter-assail with aggression and unlawful dissensions. I say. Trial by he who fulfills and decrees the most reverend and honorable judge and magistrates William P. Williamson will a supreme allied gods almighty creator of heaven and every star by name of all who come to concert a tentative opinion now presiding. See courtroom exhibit, A. Assisted by police patrol units in vicinity, petitioner resides upset they are caught and are out of service as a result of the ironies. Counts may be deferred and possibly vacated for each defendant and each predicate act based on recidivist offending this areas of evil grinning mockeries and reproach taken. Case to be decided by the judge who seated and vindicated these are contentions at attention. Counts 2. 18 U.S. Code 2381, Treason. Title 18 Part I Chapter 115 2381. Definitions. A. Whoever, owing allegiance to the United States, levies war against them or adheres to their enemies, giving them aid and comfort within the United States or elsewhere, is guilty of treason and shall suffer death, or shall be imprisoned not less than 5 years and fined under this title but not less than $10,000, and shall be incapable of holding any office under the United States. 0 in as such to evaluate and share information deeming for S person of interest to develop and grow further. I say. Noting all too well Sheriff Department and other areas of fuss, are as perfectly capable of deterring and countering terrorism and homeland security senses of need and urgencies, as to more effectively construe alien leader to side we are as friendly, hilarious, talented and possibly helpful such stipulated. 1 also stated, and law clerk's candor to resituate hearing in another judge's chamber when find outs they are made doing dunder, telling a lie and falsifying a ledger, attempting a hit, doing suchly, according to our entity's attention thus dialing 911 to do sabotage the evidence clearly a mistake. 2 The people in charge of the cases concerted a faulty find objective despite these here situated reoffend with undoubtedly more aggressive torments and sodomic identifying design adages, the criminy aspects of alien abuses of technologies, put aside like that of a devil desire. 3 Being wild and prehistoric animals in disguises, the dog-cat mentality of these impostors confer differently than their oaths and sworn depositions indicate. They resented my countenances, told and continue to tell all lies give rise to a visitor deity from another dimension's interpretations of legally, consent to be bound by authorities present. 4 A writ I sought to cease and desist computer relative activity on the grounds that of which I will talk to proper contending deputies identified as alien creatures in denial who seek degenerative and despicable sodomic regression so entered in the court ledger's blasphemous records. 5 These descending funny farm seekers did talk to said family member I noticed in areas of visit to dislodge tenants from Section 8 in an effort to conceal their objectives. I did see offer a funeral to situate a flaw in Aztec destination of fading memory. 6 These murderers and pedophiles every sun up did have a oneness with universes although I noticed despicable means unrelentless anal and sodomic rape and orgies to get their kick they desire to entertain and ideas of grotesquely molest and regress are solely spirited embodiment like a cat dog reptiles that fornicates anything it can s. 7 Entity's impression is not a faulty conscript to pretend they are a friend to gain entry to your living quarter and turn like a wild and rabid dog s. If the replicas so contending, offer a solution of sodomic and regressive reproach to evolution growth pattern will the lady that stands on my hands and makes me say love, love put up with this mischief and seditious acts of treachery for long. 8 The subject of the audio telepathy, otherwise understood in all ears and as properly identified as acute hearing perception, a term we situate to assist and grow s, will continue to be a subject so long as the faulty constraints and lies involving our community procedures continues. Stated also as acute hearing perception, these factual interprets or telepathy with our deities is ongoing in all life forces known to our attention, deaf, dumb, blinds and retarded actors as well with doctors I say. 9 Especially when dialing 911 against our concerted efforts to do lawful procedures with court employed a fascinating relationship with his higher power is got a fight to situate to my allegations drivers positions I studied. The foregoing articulation are a matters of facts at court ledger s. Rebuke not a surprise attack at that contention please. 10 As so contending these particulars are indeed guilty as charging with Title 18 Part I Chapter 79 1621 1621. Perjury that NS fraudulent deceptive attire to NS attempting to gain entry in our apartment complex to do treason, defined as aiding and abetment in crime, terror, and warfare architecture so clarified to the attention of phony recess to side. 11 A claimant seeks assail a court card neither nor a jail cell block ascribed to intimidating phony beliefs of fuss reminding a judges on call s, police and sheriff departments co commit crime so do not falsely convey the situation to our word s tuna s. 12 In so stating not just public safety resource, or assets to a community director's disregards for the subject of sworn oaths in an effort to aid and abetment in dunder not limited to abuse public privileges, cancer careers, or medical community's involvement of covering up the fact there are no real cancer or disease-like afflictions, all doctors and medical staff are stipulated, human replicas and alien-like metamorphic actors conspiring seditious acts of sodomic regressions against my solely spirited matters in and out of faulty constrained desires I see. 13. This area of knowledge is surprised a visitor s from another dimensions and seated a ferocious lion's attention in and that s Stephen, the subject of interest is said to be the only individual really prone to sickness assaults. The subject of not really dead all a sheriff coroner or deputies assigned can know is the sodomic alien scams they live for still describe neither a cartoon phenomenon nor telepathic conferencing in the effort to kill our supper I say. 14 Other areas of derail our efforts are as disclosure noted, conception not begotten in ways suggested at attention. Family identities are a false recollection of history I see and an antagonist design flaw in and that World War II never occurred. Per disclosed idiosyncrasy all a lie. Noted against our better judgment it was told us, by ways we explained in communion, womankind is a fake area of dissemination and are really plain clothes like undercover walkie-talkies swindling your face to dunder a sodomic regression play on your / my souls, all that so contended. 15 A witness, host, and petitioners also calls the cartoon phenomena God Almighty most excellent, a supreme allied higher court ruling in where Sheriff Department and Homeland Security Directors' attentions and attendance seem to be failures to appears at times, or are just plain in contempt so to speak, will continue to be the subject so long as the county employees handling this causes of action intend on threatening, incapacitating, intimidated, poisoning, drugging, institutionalizing, incarcerating, institutionalizing, and violating my civil rights. 16 Such are the hands of marshals' obligations to dance when Antzee comes to intercept the work of defending one's sepulture from corrupt devil-like aggressions. Deputy Walters for example fusses a fictitious dissension act to move in and capture regardless of the law degrees authority to contend I say same with Deputy Lundquist I seated, menaces to the uniform's intended purpose I contended also. 17 Patricia Shute a deputy district attorney's candor handling our cases deposes all you, we, myselfs as well. She stipulated for entry, uses Jackson Isles tenancy as a conditions to prop a faulty diagnosis concern I'm not for. Here's why deputies I see did regard her actions to take so stipulated. 18 The claimants contend the accused lies bouts this collective assertion and a desire of alien technology she knows nothing bouts in a deceiving effort to torment a witness host and claimant, in an exercise of callous disregard for due process of laws and situated a sodomic regression religious affiliates contentions in an effort to do dunder still and waste our solely spirited matter and attention all perjurers I say I seated so desired so contending. 19 She also, so stated, desires to wage infamy more so and dual our candor and response to our funding and development outlines and dissertations especially at Mr. Pink her thug, attention SIC, who so believe well practiced at acting out fit of rages inter alia devil-like sarcasm. Do we situate their attention to stipulate the accused are caught in our opinion as indicated guilt beyond a shadow of a doubt on the emphasis we discussing to me also your honors Anton sir. Thank you. 20 So states, we see a witness's account and descriptive as factual and worthy of contending. especially when concerting an award of this magnitude or waging an iota of reasonable assertions to provide for friendly backdrop comments of other video ideas. Ms. Shoot don't want to know we situated a fun and hilarious individual at county lockdown. I hears is a nicer way of receiving a friendly reception. We seek question of whether to implicate Ms. Shoot for records indicate she knew of our cause and done perjure grandiose and does fraud crime and in every case assigned is cause to pursue information aimed at constructive engagement I seated and dispense with unpleasant desires a contention. 21 We are sided. Discern as much as possible and side not degenerative chemistries, articulate regression areas of design insignias at the evidence to secure more wayward a solution to evolve not like a disease as we see fit to promote public safety, in so saying an extraterrestrial biological entities means, celestial supervisors identities also in a sense states in court, for a recorded transcriptions, aside prosecutors ironies. We seek credits to our work ethic bearing in mind society is composed of replicas of human embryo aka degenerate aliens in disguise, who are being talked to in an effort to modify their ground states entities contention for the time being. 22 Like we situated the reason these individuals lied and falsified a ledgers and deed crime and aiding and abetment in a crime or terrorist act more effectively in the place of law and order at courts is to do sodomic and regression evolution, like a disease so to situate. These iotas of public safety scrutinies concert attentions on other areas of, convey false information entity decides. The stipulated accused being sued are suchly. 23 Anthony Rackakaus, are sued in his official and individual capacity, Patricia Shute, are sued in her official and individual capacities, Wendy S. Lindley are sued in her official and individual capacity, Santa Ana Secret Service Detachment, are sued each in their official and individual capacity to faithfully discharge an oath of allegiance. These individuals resort to terroristic aiding and abetment and facilitation of high crimes against the Republic for which we seek punitive damages. 24 Orange County Probation, are sued in their official and collective capacities. James R. Pink, are sued in his official and individual capacity. Alice Jones, are sued in her official and individual capacity. Ramiro Gonzalez, are sued in his official and individual capacities. Stephen Andrews, are sued in his official and individual capacity. They desire a fight to all we demonstrated as contemptuous mockeries. In furtherance these sworn officers of the court do dunder and seditious acts of treason per units of candor, swindle and perfidy's indirect violation of these iotas of their official and collective capacity to protect and preserve the Constitution and the laws by they were sworn to protect and serve by which we stand acquitted. 25 Orange County Sheriff Department, are sued each individual to this sequester and affidavit of involvement. Sandra Hutchens, are sued in her official and individual capacity. Orange County Board of Supervisors, are sued in their official and individual capacity. John Moorlatch, are each sued in these areas of mislead and perjure to the offices of presidential reluctance in their official and individual capacities, in that of Mr. Pink's swindle, witness intimidating candor and the agencies aiding abetments in seditious acts of treason in this area of their official and collective capacity to desert the Constitution of the United States of America and the laws by which they were sworn to protect in view of a God's ruling by which we stand acquitted. 26 Also named are they of collaborative partners inter alias wit court are sued all together in unity each in their official and collective capacities. Orange County Superior Courts, are sued each judge to their recollection of official business hereby. West Courts, are sued including Ted Mallard and Sarah Jones, each judge on call per units of candor, swindle and perfidies in this area of their official and collective capacity to protect and preserve the Constitution and the laws by which we stand acquitted. 27 Orange County Mental Health, are sued in their official and individual capacities, each attending physicians, clinician, and staff stories to talk not a biblical event, in the face of surmounting reprisals here at assignments in their official and individual capacities. The identical reasons for the of MHA WID program including name not disclosed, in their official and individual capacities. 28 Telecare WID Corporation, are sued in their official and individual capacities, each attending physicians, clinicians, and staff stories to tell lies and falsify diagnosis, doctors' reports, liable character and aid in an inexcusable abetment that of seditious acts of treason against a United States citizen, in the face of surmounting reprisals here at assignments in their official and individual capacities, deity to decided official and individual capacities to their dissenting candors. 29. These individual capacities owing allegiance to the United States, levy war against our lawful reminder of a code of conduct to live by and do adheres to their enemy, and alien metamorphic societies, giving them aid and comfort within the United States and elsewhere like in areas of underworld's dark circus and torture chambers we notice. Human replicas are brazen individuals and are duly sworn to live and abide by our laws, in effective disclosed pertinence yet committed treason as stated our force. 30 entities and power of attorneys associated with the above and forementioning individuals culpable continue the arrogant, willful, and malevolent dissension and if proper approach is not taken, victims abused encourage a celestial-like romance, including and not limited to, particular individuals assigned to our caseloads, mental health collaborators, case workers who do flagrantly lead the efforts we have up to violate the law and in an essence, protect crime and terrorism, treachery, treason, and other undesirable solutions. 31. Homeland Security harbors call girl diversion along with every countryman from administrative office, governing constituents, police, deputies, medical profession and the masses of replicas had a devil-like surprise put aside. Of these iotas of fact bringer right to protect material evidence I say they of whose purpose is lawfully employed to our district to such as say never heard nor saw visual aid and die a lie will situate rightfully cause of actions I see. 32. These individuals severed the United States Federal Code of Justice Mandate Title 18 Part I Chapter 115 2381 and the emphasis of the foregoing U.S. Title, and to the flagrants of contemptuous mockeries, exercise no iota of recourse. That and do understand these material facts concerning 33 ill-begotten energy exchanges and metamorphic abuses of alien technologies and ARES replicas of human EMBRYOS and do psych warfare other unlawful and despicable ambition incarcerated us for either knowing too much or knowing not enough shall continue to be a subject to an emphasis of warfare bringing such as Twin Towers 911 attacks along with New York City Police, all name and individual capacities do abuse psychic alien technologies, aid and abetment in terrors. Herein continue doing natural disaster bringing of every kind and suspect in a crowds, in their efforts to confuse a witness I say, per unit of sophistication 34 The fact the replicas of human embryo I hears, are very similar in nature as the devil as taught in school as contending society in disguises also called leader qualifies, because of their stipulated involvement in underworld and indecent fireproof nature and orientation a ledger erroneously deceives for, still underscores a need to defend a plaintiff's rights to challenge the phony architect's ambitions. In so saying a devil-like double-side deeding a satanic-like anti-God response I says on inter alias Stephen Faith's attention 35 The individual capacities and alien-like troublemakers in question, and leading devil-like scrimmages in particular are Sandra Hutchens, a sheriff of Orange County, our contentions we see. 36 Entities reveals and decided description is a sodomic creature in disguises that grotesquely molest and unrelentingly like, act out a mass orgy perversion in solely essence when done, then regress to very primitive life forms as Motus operates. Is this not why sheriff departments should situate hilarious contentions I seated? 37 If the above contention were accurate depiction of Sergeant at Arms at a fault-finding district attorney's billfolder, pursue goal of same disorders I say it contending they seek a different disclosure not a foe to disrespected analogy. Seek pursuit of utopian order in the place of hell like destination for our word do stipulates. 38 Stipulated also Homeland Security and phony baloney organized criminal department if public safety resource was not an option to side some with keeping in mind all are said bound by the laws of their constituents we have assigned at this case so stated. 39 District Attorneys Candor S and Quarter to involve unlawful satanic-like metamorphosis that disguise their appearances and disrespect a good Lord's attention. I say. Deputy District Attorney, why are you still seeking a court order to seize our belongings? Pitch a phony aggression allegory when do defraud in every case and surface to Aaron Sandra Hutchens' desire to deed fits of rages opinions and S war wagons reproach toward area S known as Capitol Hill S ranker I see clearly culpable and S guilt association. 40 To this emphasis, these stipulates said perpetrators still intend on carrying out S a vengeful sided dunder our contention. Suggesting further Deputy Walters seek not a clown in uniform attire nor faulty finding from our friends so to speaks in Secret Service's attention bearing in mind all are bound by the United States Code of Justice to some degrees affiliates asides to convey friendly, hilarious, talented seems to be a special design affiliated with standing up to our said flag pertinences here told. 41 So stated. These insignia to ensign I respected continues to cause casualties and death in deities fight to act and s behave s within the bounds of cleanliness. Deputy District Attorney still s situate a have gun in and s out of court ranker in an effort s to rebel and continue a treachery swindle ineffective psychoanalogies expressing a constitutional abridgment of the health, welfare, s, and public safety, of my rights to be protected by the laws here situated contention. 42 These particular individual capacities, tell a lie about an entity's authenticity. Firstly, there that s when a deputy's caught attempting to detain our actions, so stipulated, are redirected to court's attention are indeed caught in a lie and s offer a fallacy of logic approach which give rise s to factual grounds of entities' disclosures to proceed from these presences contending. 43 Entities stated to our degrees of sophistication in essences s, aka Antzee is like s an act of God's, within the bounds of human architectures. We see sheriff's departments, Huntington Beach police officers and Westminster Police Department, describing a deputy's decision to come to residence and accost a contention bringer's attention as follow through without cursing at us free-spoken words if the contentions are or are not suchly a court exhibit. Having situated and friendly, hilarious, talented concerted individual with high hopes so to speaks we allow to be seated. Take note then and proceed not with your faulty ledgers if applicable Orange County law officials. Pages under construction. 44 County agents continue stalking our witness in an effort to design an incident, accident, or an act s of war sic in an effort to confuse and counter-assail with assertions of diabolical precision made computer, as a matter of grounds to terminate housing, and SSI benefit RS contention bringers complaints. 45 A petitioner alleges a stipulated police and sheriff department falsify the material fact pertaining to the authenticity and importance of cartographic topography aka cartoon phenomena, whose purposes so stated our entity's response teams is to provide a secure ways and means to grow and develop life despite the graphic and unruly disease-like nature of ambitious soldiers and courtrooms dissension desire bringing s in courts. 46 Redefining and grow and develop lives desires, we stipulate s again, at attention, courts, can decide a physician's fraudulent actions I bring to a tables. Telecare physicians are stipulates my friends and aliens advising wrongful and malicious dissension telecare physician so stated does construe contemptuous mockeries at our court, like deputies I see switching sides to situate a fallacy with the sarcastic judges under our authority will not be tolerated. Even such did we see law degrees not real seeks a sabotage irony with mental health contentions I say. 47 Do we cite our deputies' walkie-talkies in an exercise of guilt associated with this chapter's intended purpose? If so a telepath will exercise iota of free speech in order to make known to shot callers attention in detention bring, seditious acts of treason and conspiring with all the county escrow to engage in such a manner, warrants a citation in light of county detention's wrongful, vengeful, and continuous disrespect for authorities present. 48 In other areas of concerts attention, mental health physician s at Tau South telecares do still redirect situation at courts ledgers, to situate a gun diplomacy candor to police and law enforcement in the areas now presided despite our intervention so to says, stupefy and discombobulate the effort we made to fight our side I says. 49 physicians in questions will be reminded they commit fraud in every case assigned and are contending phony baloney excuses to coerce and suppress our moral aptitude. I cited a reference to FBI coffer about outspoken remarks made by Office of a Presidential Reprimands and called into question asset threats we made on the wars on terrorism. 49.5 is that a good cause to prejudice, discriminate, and falsify the diagnosis she stands and they contend by way of our telepathy at courts she hears and still situates a false arrest summons to decide this and s made a faulty assumption noticing the stated threats made at a president knowing all too well that replicas don't really dies and the police and sheriff's department call and design all's crimes that end mental health is a fraud in every case so contends our entities and it. Eyewitness I say. 50 bearing in word s I put to convey a factual accounting s in and though we weren't really fiddling live ammo s, a walkie-talkie will bring up said illegitimate contention pertaining to a photo s we used to emphasize an objection to seditious acts of treason. Your attention law offices, did so rely on phony concerns regarding a president's safety. These enemy dissension bringers are s in facts challenging me to a duel and understand s not due process of law. Heavenly Father. 51 The subjects of harassment s criteria I see a matter of FBI's contentions she and Dr. Brown her same candor situated I say. The persons of interest right s to press the issues any further with regards to replica aliens that don't die anyways talking nonsense we stipulated. We see causes to defend our actions as affirmative action aimed at curbing the treachery we outlined for court records again. Asides we could have been a synopsis of Rock Hawker to photograph if they pursues a lies in courts, and entities dismissed that protest actions a claimant engaged upon s some years gone s, said we were s kindly questioning fallacies and illogical behaviors that so. 52 Ifs an act of God's, brought to the deity's attention saw physicians stipulate a defense of grandiose mental affliction by corrupt mental health professionals we prove these areas of ambiguity certifiably incorrect to the false record keeping of pertinent Wendy Lindley's Loyola talkie indecisions to which we hear you kid when caught in premeditated murder desires police candor. 52.5 And if the doubts persist and the threats by police disguised at Robert Owen Anderson's, Santa Ana, a tentative desire to kill did attack before and wanted to do the such again with weapons grades use of chemical aggressions acts of wars on my face in support of Mr. Pink's fit of rage act and scrimmage leading candor we should surely know a gas chamber execution would do justice as good I see. 53 Also s this cited, court s antic not hysteria written over excess video accountings is more prepared to use Anton inter alias Wills and s formal name s, William P. Williamson for neither relevance a despond nor funny farm and acquisition production iota s of concerted attention s toward growing and affirmative actionary pursued pretenses, phony integers I sees. 54 In a factual display of camaraderie on December 22, 2014 at Witt Court's display of subordination brought to faces, those individuals severed the United States Federal Code of Justice and to the emphasis of the foregoing U.S. title, s, and to the flagrants of contemptuous mockeries, exercise no iota of recourse. 55 Inciting do understand these material facts concerning ill-begotten energy exchange metamorphosis, understood as alien abuses of technology in said to be nature, that directly affected, to the extents of do cause casualties and death daily and do situate a have gone and out of courtrooms answer toward our futures was court rancor in an effort to continue a treachery swindle the health, welfare, s, and public safety, of all who come to ask an olive branch extension does decide anyways to continue the daily subornations and abetments in these criminal and heinous acts against the republic for which I stand. 56 Here this attention we situate s, in an effort to resolve a matter more effectively regarding destinations we seek to reprogram s. I set aside s Secret Service profession s and administrative coffers in this clause s be here exempted from prosecution s to some degree s in order to pursue a goal-oriented police and sheriff's criteria while s we were disseminating utopian order solutions I say. 57 Another contention, that of the replicas as so stated, do not really die per units of human understanding, nor do they get sick or needs food or water I see. They seduce and lure me into dangerous activities. These human clones have a behavioral character that allows them to stalk, victimize, abuse and deceive in jails, prison, mental facilities and are masterminds of deception. Being such the case, a remands may not be as effective as staying near our entities and higher powers' word. Counts 3. 18 U.S. Code 2384, Seditious Conspiracy. Title 18 Part I Chapter 115 2384. Definitions. A. If two or more persons in any state or territory, or in any place subject to the jurisdiction of the United States, conspire to overthrow, put down, or to destroy by force the government of the United States, or to levy war against them, or to oppose by force the authority thereof, or by force to prevent, hinder, or delay the execution of any law of the United States, or by force to seize, take, or possess any property of the United States contrary to the authority thereof, they shall each be fined under this title or imprisoned not more than 20 years, or both. The stipulated accused being sued are suchly: 1. Anthony Rackakaus, are sued in his official and individual capacity. Patricia Shute, are sued in her official and individual capacities. Wendy S. Lindley, are sued in her official and individual capacity. S. Santa Ana Secret Service Detachment, are sued each in their official and individual capacity to faithfully discharge an oath of allegiance. These individuals resort to terroristic aiding and abetment and facilitation of high crimes against the Republic for which we seek punitive damages. 2. Orange County Probation, are sued in their official and collective capacities. James R. Pink, are sued in his official and individual capacity. Alice Jones, are sued in her official and individual capacity. S. Ramiro Gonzalez, are sued in his official and individual capacities. Stephen Andrews, are sued in his official and individual capacity. They desire a fight to all we demonstrated as contemptuous mockeries. In furtherance, these sworn officers of the court do dunder and seditious acts of treason per units of candor, swindle and perfidies, indirect violation of these iotas of their official and collective capacity to protect and preserve the Constitution and the laws by they were sworn to protect and serve, by which we stand acquitted. 3. Orange County Sheriff Department, are sued each individual to this sequester and affidavit of involvement. Sandra Hutchens, are sued in her official and individual capacity. S. Orange County Board of Supervisors, are sued in their official and individual capacity. John Moorlatch, are each sued in these areas of mislead and perjure to the offices of presidential reluctance in their official and individual capacities. In that of Mr. Pink's swindle, witness intimidating candor, and the agencies aiding abetments in seditious acts of treason in this area of these their official and collective capacity to desert the Constitution of the United States of America and the laws by which they were sworn to protect in view of a God's ruling, by which we stand acquitted. 4. Also named are they of collaborative partners ESQ, inter alias Whitcourt, are sued all together in unity each in their official and collective capacities. Orange County Superior Courts, are sued each judge to their recollection of official business hereby. S. West Courts, are sued including Ted Mallard and Sarah Jones, each judge on call per units of candor, swindle and perfidies in this area of their official and collective capacity to protect and preserve the Constitution and the laws by which we stand acquitted. 5. Orange County Mental Health, are sued in their official and individual capacities, each attending physicians, clinician, and staff stories to talk not a biblical event, in the face of surmounting reprisals here at assignments in their official and individual capacities. The identical reasons for the of MHA WID program including name not disclosed, in their official and individual capacities. 6. Telecare WID Corporation, are sued in their official and individual capacities, each attending physicians, clinicians, and staff stories to tell lies and falsify diagnosis, doctors' reports, liable character, and aid in an inexcusable abetment that of seditious acts of treason against a United States citizen. S. In the face of surmounting reprisals here at assignments in their official and individual capacities, deity to decided official and individual capacities to their dissenting candors. 7. As the entities described are venue of connote not afraid to continue a seditious criminal act including sabotage, these individuals severed the United States Federal Code of Justice and to the emphasis of the foregoing U.S. Title, S, and to the flagrants of contemptuous mockeries, exercise no iota of recourse. In furtherance, do understand these material facts concerning ill-begotten energy exchange metamorphosis, understood as abuse of alien technologies that directly affected, to the extents of do cause casualties and death daily and do situate a have gun at court rancor is the law, in an effort to continue a treachery swindle the health, welfare, and public safety, of all who come to contend unlawful aiding and abetment in criminal and heinous acts against the Republic for which I stand. 8. This venue is most culpable because of their rebellious approach to act of gods or celestial supervisors respective rank so to see. In additional adages, the hereby accused are hell-bent on seeking a vengeful response remedy aimed at drugging, coercing, and suppressing or falsely imprisoning our witness transcriptions I say are missing a contention of phony occupations to situate Catholic schemes at division headquarters. 9. These individual capacities foregoing as I emphasizing, continue to injure, oppress, threaten, intimidate, prejudice with intentions to prevent or hinder the claimant's free exercise or enjoyment of constitutionally guaranteed civil rights, by warning us we will go to prison, or be institutionalized did resort to usage of military-graded use of chemical weapons attack on a witness. 10. In a set of duplicate copies do we set aside a said police department's Huntington Beach willingness to abuse psychic alien technologies in an effort to obstruct justice, incapacitate or kill a witness. Now transcriber do see incriminate a police department in an effort to paraplegic our attention so stated cited in fact s conspire to violate it and s situate rancor I know with other individual and collective capacities to attack again s did violate. 1118 U.S. Code 2384, Seditious Conspiracy Title 18 Part I Chapter 115 2384 here situated the truth of a matters regarding energy exchange with the masses so well and does continue the scrimmages to use deadly fumes in an effort to aid and abetment in other grandiose schemes on other planets and underworld desires of fornicate despicably and regress spirited matters a concern you say. Counts 4. Title 18 Part I and GT, Chapter 13 241. Previous next. 241. Conspiracy against rights. Definitions. A. If two or more persons conspire to injure, oppress, threaten, or intimidate any person in any state, territory, commonwealth, possession, or district in the free exercise or enjoyment of any right or privilege secured to him by the Constitution or laws of the United States, or because of his having so exercised the same, or if two or more persons go in disguise on the highway, or on the premises of another, with intent to prevent or hinder his free exercise or enjoyment of any right or privilege so secured. B. They shall be fined under this title or imprisoned not more than 10 years, or both, and if death results from the acts committed in violation of this section or if such acts include kidnapping or an attempt to kidnap, aggravated sexual abuse or an attempt to commit aggravated sexual abuse, or an attempt to kill, they shall be fined under this title or imprisoned for any term of years or for life, or both, or may be sentenced to death. The stipulated accused being sued are suchly: 1. Anthony Rackakaus, are sued in his official and individual capacity. Patricia Schude, are sued in her official and individual capacities. Wendy S. Lindley are sued in her official and individual capacity. Santa Ana Secret Service Detachment, are sued each in their official and individual capacity to faithfully discharge an oath of allegiance. These individuals I see resort to terroristic aiding and abetment and facilitation of high crimes against the Republic for which we seek punitive damages. 2. Orange County Probation, are sued in their official and collective capacities. James R. Pink, are sued in his official and individual capacity. Alice Jones, are sued in her official and individual capacity. Ramiro Gonzalez, are sued in his official and individual capacities. Stephen Andrews, are sued in his official and individual capacity. They desire a fight to all we demonstrated as contemptuous mockeries. In furtherance, these sworn officers of the court do dunder and seditious acts of treason per units of candor, swindle and perfidy's indirect violation of these iotas of their official and collective capacity to protect and preserve the Constitution and the laws by they were sworn to protect and serve, by which we stand acquitted. 3. Orange County Sheriff Department, are sued each individual to this sequester and affidavit of involvement. Sandra Hutchens, are sued in her official and individual capacity. S. Orange County Board of Supervisors, are sued in their official and individual capacity. John Moorlatch, are each sued in these areas of mislead and perjure to the offices of presidential reluctance in their official and individual capacities, in that of Mr. Pink's swindle, witness intimidating candor, and the agencies aiding abetments in seditious acts of treason in this area of these their official and collective capacity to desert the Constitution of the United States of America and the laws by which they were sworn to protect in view of a God's ruling, by which we stand acquitted. 4. Also named are they of collaborative partners ESQ, inter alias Whitcourt, are sued all together in unity each in their official and collective capacities. Orange County Superior Courts, are sued each judge to their recollection of official business hereby. S. West Courts, are sued including Ted Mallard and Sarah Jones, each judge on call per units of candor, swindle and perfidies in this area of their official and collective capacity to protect and preserve the Constitution and the laws by which we stand acquitted. 5. Orange County Mental Health, are sued in their official and individual capacities, each attending physicians, clinician, and staff stories to talk not a biblical event, in the face of surmounting reprisals here at assignments in their official and individual capacities, the identical reasons for the of MHA WID program including name not disclosed, in their official and individual capacities. 6. Telecare WID Corporation, are sued in this their official and individual capacities, each attending physicians, clinicians, and staff stories to tell lies and falsify diagnosis, doctors' reports, liable character, and aid in an inexcusable abetment that of seditious acts of treason against a United States citizen. S. In the face of surmounting reprisals here at assignments in their official and individual capacities, deity to decided official and individual capacities to their dissenting candors. 7. These individual capacities of foregoing as I emphasizing, continue to injure, oppress, threaten, intimidate, prejudice with intentions to prevent or hinder the claimant's free exercise or enjoyment of constitutionally guaranteed civil rights. 7.5 By reiterating our behaviors and grounds to end up in prison, or be accused of insanity, you will wind up in and will be institution. Not to be confused with the said sodomic cemetery dwellers' desires to rape, are caught at William P. Williamson's and entities on map topographies courts and attention as we seeking a federal injunction to cease and desist, taking umbrages to the descriptive we situates as threatening bodily injury for demanding justice and corrective servitude be done so stated. 8. These individuals severed the United States Federal Code of Justice and to the emphasis of the foregoing U.S. Title, S, and to the flagrants of contemptuous mockeries, exercise no iota of recourse. In furtherance do understand these material facts concerning ill-begotten energy exchange metamorphosis, understood as abuse of alien technology, not limited to earthquake design, hurricane, tsunami, tornadoes, asteroid, and comet assimilation, noting they blow wind, and are a oneness-like approach. How about wayside and not in a constructive manner used to describe a betterment of society? 9. There then the force, S of said to be nature, that directly affected, to the extent of do cause casualties and death daily and do situate a have gun at court rancor in an effort to continue a treachery swindle the health, welfare, S, and public safety, of all who come to aid and abetment in these criminal and heinous acts against the Republic for which I stand. Counts 5. Title 18 Part I and GT, Chapter 13 242. Previous next. 242. Deprivation of rights under color of law. How current is this? Definitions. A. Whoever, under color of any law, statute, ordinance, regulation, or custom, willfully subjects any person in any state, territory, commonwealth, possession, or district to the deprivation of any rights, privileges, or immunities secured or protected by the Constitution or laws of the United States, or to different punishments, pains, or penalties, on account of such person being an alien, or by reason of his color, or race, than are prescribed for the punishment of citizens, shall be fined under this title or imprisoned not more than 1 year, or both, and if bodily injury results from the acts committed in violation of this section, or if such acts include the use, attempted use, or threatened use of a dangerous weapon, explosives, or fire, shall be fined under this title or imprisoned not more than 10 years, or both, and if death results from the acts committed in violation of this section, or if such acts include kidnapping or an attempt to kidnap, aggravated sexual abuse, or an attempt to commit aggravated sexual abuse, or an attempt to kill, shall be fined under this title, or imprisoned for any term of years or for life, or both, or may be sentenced to death. The stipulated accused being sued are suchly: 1. Anthony Rackakaus, are sued in his official and individual capacity. Patricia Schutte, are sued in her official and individual capacities. Wendy S. Lindley, are sued in her official and individual capacity. Santa Ana Secret Service Detachment, are sued each in their official and individual capacity to faithfully discharge an oath of allegiance. These individuals resort to terroristic aiding and abetment and facilitation of high crimes against the Republic, for which we seek punitive damages. 2. Orange County Probation, are sued in their official and collective capacities. James R. Pink, are sued in his official and individual capacity. Alice Jones, are sued in her official and individual capacity. Ramiro Gonzalez, are sued in his official and individual capacities. Stephen Andrews, are sued in his official and individual capacity. They desire a fight to all we demonstrated as contemptuous mockeries. In furtherance, these sworn officers of the court do dunder and seditious acts of treason per units of candor, swindle and perfidy's indirect violation of these iotas of their official and collective capacity to protect and preserve the Constitution and the laws by they were sworn to protect and serve, by which we stand acquitted. 3. Orange County Sheriff Department, are sued each individual to this sequester and affidavit of involvement. Sandra Hutchens, are sued in her official and individual capacity. Orange County Board of Supervisors, are sued in their official and individual capacity. John Moorlatch, are each sued in these areas of mislead and perjure to the offices of presidential reluctance in their official and individual capacities. In that of Mr. Pink's swindle, witness intimidating candor, and the agencies aiding abetments in seditious acts of treason in this area of their official and collective capacity to desert the Constitution of the United States of America and the laws by which they were sworn to protect in view of a God's ruling, by which we stand acquitted. 4. Also named are they of collaborative partners ESQ, inter alias Whitcourt, are sued all together in unity each in their official and collective capacities. Orange County Superior Courts, are sued each judge to their recollection of official business hereby. West Courts, are sued including Ted Mallard and Sarah Jones, each judge on call per units of candor, swindle and perfidies in this area of their official and collective capacity to protect and preserve the Constitution and the laws by which we stand acquitted. 5. Orange County Mental Health, are sued in their official and individual capacities, each attending physicians, clinician, and staff stories to talk not a biblical event, in the face of surmounting reprisals here at assignments in their official and individual capacities. The identical reasons for the of MHA WID program including name not disclosed, in their official and individual capacities. 6. Telecare WID Corporation, are sued in their official and individual capacities, each attending physicians, clinicians, and staff stories to tell lies and falsify diagnosis, doctors' reports, liable character, and aid in an inexcusable abetment that of seditious acts of treason against a United States citizen, in the face of surmounting reprisals here at assignments in their official and individual capacities, deity to decided official and individual capacities to their dissenting candors. 7. These individual capacities as states clearly for a record exercise no iota of recourse. In furtherance do understand these material facts concerning ill-begotten energy exchange metamorphosis, understood as abuse of alien technology, and facilitated all radio signal fallacies, earthquake and seismic activity, hurricane, tsunami, tornadoes, asteroid and comet assimilation, noting they blow wind, and are a oneness-like approach. How about wayside and not in a constructive manner used to describe a betterment of society? 7.5 These iotas of individual know-how are nuclear and fireproof also, aliens in disguise, replicate human understanding and character to abuse also as a specifying here in atomic and nuclear inventions and ambitions as well being a same alien all the masses. Stephen's father XXXXXXXXXXX stipulated said, designed us at childbirth or a year before do situate, nuclear-proof and fireproof replicas of human beings as construe family and conception not done in ways suggested and taught in school. Is this a factual pretense? 8 There then the force, S of said to be nature, that directly affected, to the extent of do cause casualties and death daily and do situate a have gun at court rancor in an effort to continue a treachery swindle the health, welfare, S, and public safety, of all who come to aid and abetment in these criminal and heinous acts against the Republic for which I stand. 9 These individuals severed the United States Federal Code of Justice and to the emphasis of the foregoing U.S. title, S, and to the flagrants of contemptuous mockeries, exercise no iota of recourse. In furtherance do understand these material facts concerning ill-begotten energy exchange metamorphosis, understood as magic force, S of said to be nature, that directly affected, to the extent of do cause casualties and death daily and do situate a have gun at court rancor in an effort to continue a treachery swindle the health, welfare, S, and public safety, of all who come to aid and abetment in these criminal and heinous acts against the Republic for which I stand. Count 6. Title 18 Part INGT, Chapter 19 371. Previous next. 371. Conspiracy to commit offense or to defraud United States. Definitions. A. If two or more persons conspire either to commit any offense against the United States, or to defraud the United States, or any agency thereof in any manner or for any purpose, and one or more of such persons do any act to effect the object of the conspiracy, each shall be fined under this title or imprisoned not more than 5 years, or both. If, however, the offense, the commission of which is the object of the conspiracy, is a misdemeanor only, the punishment for such conspiracy shall not exceed the maximum punishment provided for such misdemeanor. The stipulated accused being sued are suchly: 1. Anthony Rackakaus, are sued in his official and individual capacity. Patricia Shute, are sued in her official and individual capacities. Wendy S. Lindley are sued in her official and individual capacity. S. Santa Ana Secret Service Detachment, are sued each in their official and individual capacity to faithfully discharge an oath of allegiance. These individuals I see resort to terroristic aiding and abetment and facilitation of high crimes against the Republic for which we seek punitive damages. 2. Orange County Probation, are sued in this their official S and collective capacities. James R. Pink, are sued in his official and individual capacity. Alice Jones, are sued in her official and individual capacity. S. Ramiro Gonzalez, are sued in his official and individual capacities. Stephen Andrews, are sued in his official and individual capacity. They desire a fight to all we demonstrated as contemptuous mockeries. In furtherance these sworn officers of the court do dunder and seditious acts of treason per units of candor, swindle and perfidies indirect violation of these iotas of their official and collective capacity to protect and preserve the Constitution and the laws by they were sworn to protect and serve by which we stand acquitted. 3. Orange County Sheriff Department, are sued each individual to this sequester and affidavit of involvement. Sandra Hutchens, are sued in her official and individual capacity. S. Orange County Board of Supervisors, are sued in their official and individual capacity. John Moorlatch, are each sued in these areas of mislead and perjure to the offices of presidential reluctance in their official and individual capacities. In that of Mr. Pink's swindle, witness intimidating candor and the agencies aiding abetments in seditious acts of treason in this area of these their official and collective capacity to desert the Constitution of the United States of America and the laws by which they were sworn to protect in view of a God's ruling by which we stand acquitted. 4. Also named are they of collaborative partners ESQ, inter alias wit court are sued all together in unity, each in their official and collective capacities. Orange County Superior Courts are sued each judge to their recollection of official business hereby. S. West Courts are sued including Ted Mallard and Sarah Jones, each judge on call per units of candor, swindle and perfidies in this area of their official and collective capacity to protect and preserve the Constitution and the laws by which we stand acquitted. 5. Orange County Mental Health are sued in their official and individual capacities, each attending physicians, clinician, and staff stories to talk not a biblical event, in the face of surmounting reprisals here at assignments in their official and individual capacities. The identical reasons for the of MHA WID program including name not disclosed, in their official and individual capacities. 6. Telecare WID Corporation are sued in this their official and individual capacities, each attending physicians, clinicians, and staff stories to tell lies and falsify diagnosis, doctors' reports, liable character and aid in an inexcusable abetment that of seditious acts of treason against a United States citizen, in the face of surmounting reprisals here at assignments in their official and individual capacities, deity to decided official and individual capacities to their dissenting candors. 7. In so saying defraud, these tip of the iceberg examples do practice fraud against the United States by assuming an false occupation such as medical professionals when a claimant we hear and sees is an only human embryo on this planet, so to speaks. All medical doctors, nurses, and healthcare personnel violates Title 18 Part I Chapter 19 and GT 371 and do collect pension benefits as well as diagnose and treat falsely all said ailments with an intention to do sodomic diseases for advancements. I says all police and sheriff deputies in our venues are alleged to commit crime in every court cases ever heard in this causes of action and complaints as well, in so seating did violate Title 18 Part I Chapter 19 371. 8. These individuals severed the United States Federal Code of Justice mandate and the emphasis of the foregoing U.S. Title 18 Part I and GT, Chapter 19 371 A and D to the flagrants of contemptuous mockeries, exercise no iota of recourse. In furtherance do understand these material facts concerning ill-begotten energy exchange metamorphosis, understood as abuses of alien technologies and as of said to be nature, that directly affected, to the extents of do cause casualties and death daily and do situate a have gun at court rancor in an effort to continue a treachery swindle the health, welfare, and public safety, of all who come to aid and abetment in these criminal and heinous acts against the Republic for which I stand. 9. In furtherance these particular individual capacities, falsified the material fact on cartographic topography aka cartoon phenomena, clearly a public safety resource and a reasonable causes to believe, an act of God, brought to the deity's attention could resituate a better fate do stipulate a defense of grandiose mental affliction and are caught to the emphasis to the minutes of this entry impetus and appendage citing a district judge torture, and cited with Dr. Pickard's analogies to better my reproach estimated times of arrivals by suggesting she inject Stephen with poison for a CIA menu to relieve his in-court's defense mission. Did we stipulates, hear it out in the open airing phony order you didst debate? 10. We contend at court the same iota of misconstrue at Dr. Pickard's degrees in question, did she talk, President is replica that don't really die as, per units of human understanding, in and that the sheriff coroner now pronounces, a lie is perjure and defraud the system in an effort to deprive a constitution bringer's guarantees to be protected by the laws. I says 11 county judges now attending C's Sheriff Department hires made following and transcribing differently as to commit offense and defraud the United States government out of monies and securities as such are caught this very moment violating Title 18 Part I Chapter 19 and GT 371. These individuals habitually lie and tells all as I see and seated a phony solution your retell a court to find seriousness in purpose to the ideas or notion bringing of cartoon phenomena on maps we circulated is incorrect. I see that pedophilia is fornicate improperly at jurisdiction I resides do take umbrage to lawful dictation I see at word processors irony. 12. I don't cite phony bleeder or fictitious medals of valor display to our reckoning. Stipulated ongoing courtroom suggests malevolence, a way to respond set asides and set do defeat purpose of utopian order asides. Here situated a meaning to watch. I seated this very transcription to occur our uniforms at Huntington Beach Police Headquarters monitoring a situation with devil-like motivations. I'll say 13. These replica of humans, all the masses in this word are summoned through articulation we called career ender, cited a fit of rage again to blow away the material facts we presented as do Connie and leave Stan out of it. Stan's defense positions here tells an effort they cited Rick Arroyo's leisure time preface in an efforts to regress solely spirited matters more on times. I seated to redecide how a dictated journal should be with envious Ganges a visit to the morgue. I say Count 7. Title 18 Part INGT Chapter 19 373. Previous Next 373. Solicitation to commit a crime of violence. Definitions. A. Whoever, with intent that another person engage in conduct constituting a felony that has as an element the use, attempted use, or threatened use of physical force against property or against the person of another in violation of the laws of the United States, and under circumstances strongly corroborative of that intent, solicits, commands, induces, or otherwise endeavors to persuade such other person to engage in such conduct, shall be imprisoned not more than 1/2 the maximum term of imprisonment, or, notwithstanding section 3571, fined not more than 1/2 of the maximum fine prescribed for the punishment of the crime solicited, or both, or if the crime solicited is punishable by life imprisonment or death, shall be imprisoned for not more than 20 years. B. It is an affirmative defense to a prosecution under the section that, under circumstances manifesting a voluntary and complete renunciation of his criminal intent, the defendant prevented the commission of the crime solicited. A renunciation is not voluntary and complete if it is motivated in whole or in part by a decision to postpone the commission of the crime until another time or to substitute another victim or another but similar objective. If the defendant raises the affirmative defense at trial, the defendant has the burden of proving the defense by a preponderance of the evidence. C. It is not a defense to a prosecution under the section that the person solicited could not be convicted of the crime because he lacked the state of mind required for its commission, because he was incompetent or irresponsible, or because he is immune from prosecution or is not subject to prosecution. The stipulated accused being sued are suchly: 1. Anthony Rackakaus, are sued in his official and individual capacity. Patricia Shute, are sued in her official and individual capacities. Wendy S. Lindley are sued in her official and individual capacity. S. Santa Ana Secret Service Detachment, are sued each in their official and individual capacity to faithfully discharge an oath of allegiance. These individuals I see resort to terroristic aiding and abetment and facilitation of high crimes against the Republic for which we seek punitive damages. 2. Orange County Probation, are sued in this their official S and collective capacities. James R. Pink, are sued in his official and individual capacity. Alice Jones, are sued in her official and individual capacity. S. Ramiro Gonzalez, are sued in his official and individual capacities. Stephen Andrews, are sued in his official and individual capacity. They desire a fight to all we demonstrated as contemptuous mockeries. In furtherance, these sworn officers of the court do dunder and seditious acts of treason per units of candor, swindle and perfidy's indirect violation of these iotas of their official and collective capacity to protect and preserve the Constitution and the laws by they were sworn to protect and serve, by which we stand acquitted. 3. Orange County Sheriff Department, are sued each individual to the sequester and affidavit of involvement. Sandra Hutchens, are sued in her official and individual capacity. S. Orange County Board of Supervisors, are sued in their official and individual capacity. John Moorlatch, are each sued in these areas of mislead and perjure to the offices of presidential reluctance in their official and individual capacities, in that of Mr. Pink's swindle, witness intimidating candor and a agencies aiding abetments in seditious acts of treason in this area of these their official and collective capacity to desert the Constitution of the United States of America and the laws by which they were sworn to protect in view of a God's ruling by which we stand acquitted. 4 also named are they of collaborative partners ESQ, inter alias wit court are sued all together in unity each in their official and collective capacities. Orange County Superior Courts are sued each judge to their recollection of official business hereby as. West Courts are sued including Ted Mallard and Sarah Jones, each judge on call per units of candor, swindle and perfidies in this area of their official and collective capacity to protect and preserve the Constitution and the laws by which we stand acquitted. 5 Orange County Mental Health are sued in their official and individual capacities, each attending physicians, clinician, and staff stories to talk not a biblical event, in the face of surmounting reprisals here at assignments in their official and individual capacities, the identical reasons for the of MHA WID program including name not disclosed, in their official and individual capacities. 6 Telecare WID Corporation are sued in this their official and individual capacities, each attending physicians, clinicians, and staff stories to tell lies and falsify diagnosis, doctors' reports, liable character and aid in an inexcusable abetment that of seditious acts of treason against a United States citizen, in the face of surmounting reprisals here at assignments in their official and individual capacities, deity to decided official and individual capacities to their dissenting candors. 7 These individuals led the scrimmage in an effort to cover up and conceal the material facts we seek to convey, severed the United States Federal Code of Justice mandate and the emphasis of the foregoing U.S. title, and to the flagrants of contemptuous mockeries, exercise no iota of recourse due and done solicit and vengeance assertion at my cordons. In furtherance do understand these material facts concerning ill-begotten energy exchange metamorphosis, understood as alien abuses of technical means of verification and are situate to be offices of a president I see that directly affected, to the extents of due cause casualties and death daily and do situate a have gun at court rancor all set aside Secret Service lawyer to foil these efforts I make to deter continued violations of, Title 18 Part I Chapter 19 and GT, 373 Treachery Swindle. The health, welfare, and public safety, of all who come to aid and abetment in these criminal and heinous acts against the Republic for which I stand. 8 In furtherance these of particular individual capacities, falsified the material fact on cartographic topography aka cartoon phenomena, clearly a public safety resource and a reasonable causes to believe, an act of God, brought to the deity's attention do stipulate a defense of grandiose mental affliction and are caught to the emphasis at the time of this updated appendage citing a devil-like torment, torture and regress to inter alias Stephen Faith Spirit cited. Counts 8. Title 18 Part I and GT, Chapter 47 1001. Previous next. 1001. Statements or entries generally. Definitions. A. Except as otherwise provided in this section, whoever, in any matter within the jurisdiction of the executive, legislative, or judicial branch of the government of the United States, knowingly and willfully 1. Falsifies, conceals, or covers up by any trick, scheme, or device a material fact. 2. Makes any materially false, fictitious, or fraudulent statement or representation, or 3. Makes or uses any false writing or document knowing the same to contain any materially false, fictitious, or fraudulent statement or entry. Shall be fined under this title, imprisoned not more than 5 years or, if the offense involves international or domestic terrorism, as defined in Section 2331, imprisoned not more than 8 years, or both. If the matter relates to an offense under Chapter 109A, 109B, 110, or 117, or Section 1591, then the term of imprisonment imposed under this section shall be not more than 8 years. B. Subsection A. Does not apply to a party to a judicial proceeding, or that parties counsel for statements, representations, writings, or documents submitted by such party or counsel to a judge or magistrate in that proceeding. C. With respect to any matter within the jurisdiction of the legislative branch, subsection A, shall apply only to 1. Administrative matters, including a claim for payment, a matter related to the procurement of property or services, personnel or employment practices, or support services, or a document required by law, rule, or regulation to be submitted to the Congress or any office or officer within the legislative branch, or 2. Any investigation or review, conducted pursuant to the authority of any committee, subcommittee, commission, or office of the Congress, consistent with applicable rules of the House or Senate. 3. Despite nearby patrol units aside S, these individuals continue to offer a lecture and a psychotropic drugging and threaten to institutionalize our said contentions, severed the United States Federal Code of Justice and to the emphasis of the foregoing U.S. Title, S, and to the flagrants of contemptuous mockeries, exercise no iota of recourse. In furtherance do understand these material facts concerning ill-begotten energy exchange metamorphosis, understood as magic force, S of said to be nature, that directly affected, to the extents of do cause casualties and death daily and do situate a have gun at court rancor in an effort to continue a treachery swindle the health, welfare, S, and public safety, of all who come to aid and abetment in these criminal and heinous acts against the Republic for which I stand. 4. Having set the record straight, clerk of the court's attention and all parties to this entry, fun-friendly, hilarious, a little extreme maybe will continue to be the images we seek to entertain so long as progress seems to be taken place, bearing in mind we wanted to live forever and we want more life and a pursuit of heavenly destinations and an itinerary to utopian order type civilizations. This does not mean lockdown. Chapter 4 Charges and stated contentions. The nature of this legal action, S, is such, if in its own right, S, do situate a judge, S, in my, R, defense as to imply. In lieu of the witness the parties here to do engage in premeditated criminal act, S, or trespass, such as murder, kidnap, rape, arson, armed robbery, S, 911 Twin Tower-like acts of said war and or treachery, designing, terrorism, seditious acts of treason against legal authorities present. A principal in so saying guaranteed protection under the law, S, may recover and or hold accountable, the convicted I decided. List of culpable violations as follows. Counts for violation of Title 18 U.S.C. 1962, D, prohibited activities. Counts for violation of Title 18 U.S.C. 1506 theft or alteration of record or process. Counts for violation of Title 18 U.S.C. 241 conspiracy. Counts for violation of Title 18 U.S.C. 242 deprivation of rights under color. Counts for violation of Title 18 U.S.C. 1341 frauds and swindles as defined by Title 18 U.S.C. 1346. Definition of scheme or artifice to defraud. Counts for violation of Title 18 U.S.C. 1341 frauds and swindles. Counts for violation of Title 28 U.S.C. Rule 79 and Clerk's Manual, Chapter 15. 15.03 Counts for violation of District Court Clerk's Manual, Chapter 20, 20.01 Attorney Admissions Procedures. Counts for violation of Title 18 U.S.C. 1920 Counts for violation of Title 18 U.S.C. 1001 Clerk's Manual, Chapter 1, Ig. 2. Title 18 U.S.C. 1001 Counts for violation of Title 28 U.S.C. FRCP Rule 26. General provisions governing discovery, duty of disclosure as amended 2000. All individuals named here at in above entitled actions read his notice of intent to use a said act of nature and / or nature's God. Counts for violation of Clerk's Manual, Chapter 9, Exhibit 4. Defendants. First amended civil claim for damages BYS phony responsible parties I say. And other relief for violation of the False Claims Acts. perjury, ineffective psychological detention schemes in order to benefit from deceptive practices of devolute abuses of alien underworld behaviors. Meaning: organized terrorism, earthquake, hurricanes, tornado and tsunami weather bringing abuses. Assimilation is in fact terrorism despite county detentions. Arguments. ALSOD abuse nuclear dangers under a false pretenses to the emphasis of nuclear composites and FIREPROOFS replicas tell a lie about this contention. IC 1. This is a first amended action brought by plaintiff aka Stephen Van Arroyo and Stephen Van Schaffer, who petitions for redress of grievances, and requests that the court hold defendants accountable for violations of Title 18 U.S.C. 1962 ETSEQ, West 2001, clearly established law, other applicable federal statutes, and applicable state statutes, for fraud and swindle, for obstruction of justice, conspiring to obstruct justice for themselves and others, for operating the courts as a racketeering enterprise, for the filing of false claims, perjury, crimes against humanity, perfidy, and for obstructing justice on a key tam. Demand for compensation by a plaintiff again. Having personally been victimized and abused by the GOINGSONS of metamorphosis-like energy exchange at the levels of United States government and unearthly elected official leaders, we the presiding judges force are designing in a test. 1. Plaintiff demands that the Federal Rules of Civil Procedure, Rule 1, Scope and Purpose of Rules, shall govern this action, and plaintiff shall preserve, inviolate, his right of trial by interpretation of the clauses I attest under Rule 38, and right of discovery disclosures without request prescribed under Rule 26, concurrent with defendant's answers and contemptuous mockeries asides of all who swear before a gods a willful and predicate acts of intolerance included and not limited to. The entire Senate floor's angry rebuttal. 2. We seated Supreme Court's DCA global telepathic intrinsic and extraterrestrial biological entities and authority, whereas all replicas could see and hear the right situation to avoid not to understand with friendly overtures and seek goodness. We saw a claimant do rightful approach while a Supreme Court conceded to same-sex unions to our entity's face and avoid our presence do dunder as described fight to resituate my development with regression surprises when done understood to all I say Catholic service bias anti-God response is not an interest of uphold life district attorney fraud in every case he served is unlawful and culpable Stotler attentions I say. 3. So say when in the course of human events the ventriloquist, a said act of nature and nature's God, s, from thence come to show his face, s, to be understood in all manner of tongue etiquette the material facts as states nuclear proof and psychic 911 co crime cloak and police swearing individuals are afoot in the right direction as to cite a legal precedence to describe a matter of opinion. 4. In pursuant to Rule 7, a, and Rule 8, b, with no other pleadings allowed except upon order of the court under grounds provided by law. Chapter 5 Jurisdiction, Venue and Rules. 1. Shall redecide all issues including immunity, and upon all claims in the suit if the proper settlement wasn't opted in a circuit court I say. 2. Jurisdiction and venue, County of Orange under the scrutinies of Justice Anton the deity and extraterrestrial biological entity preferably noted. 3. Mostly all procedures, rules, and codes are taken from West, S 2001 editions of Federal Civil Judicial Procedures and Rules, and Federal Criminal Code and Rules, hereinafter referred to by title number, USC, United States Code, and Section. An International World Court of Justices may participate if and whence the need arises I ceded. 4. A law degree is situate punitive damage award over his jurisdiction having a say over this action and decrees pursuant to federal statutes, including Title 28 U.S.C. 1331, Federal Question, Title 28 U.S.C. 1343, Civil Rights and Elective Franchise, Title 28 U.S.C. 1355, Federal Fines, Penalties and Forfeitures, Title 31 U.S.C. 3729 and 3730 ETESQ, False Claims, Title 18 U.S.C. 2, 3, 4, 43, 201, 241, 242, 891, 1001, 1341, 1505, 1506, 1719, 1920, 1962, Principles. Accessories: obstruction of justice, racketeering, fraud, treason against the United States, embezzlement, perjury, mayhem in some degrees, fraudulent or false entries violations, alteration or destruction of federal records, fraud, terrorism, conspiracy against civil rights, deprivation of civil rights under color, genocide, Title 15 U.S.C. 127. 5. First Amendment, right to petition for redress of grievances. 7th Amendment, right to trial by sequestration, redress of impropriety, s. ad lib. and amp. 14th Amendment, right to equal protection, and the USA Patriot Act, domestic terrorism. 6. Venue, emergency management. Predicate acts of attrition, is proper under Title 28 U.S.C. 84. 7. The United States is comprised of the federal government, and has sovereign standing to sue or be sued. Head offices for all branches of the federal government are located in Washington, D.C., with branch offices/agencies in all states, which are created under 28 U.S.C. 124. State and private agencies contract with cities and/or counties, are directly or indirectly regulated by the federal government, and are subject to liability pursuant to 18 U.S.C. 666. Opposition to magistrate, 28 U.S.C. Section 636, c. For our judges we see in full view of mental associates candor stills. 8. Plaintiff hereby files this his opposition to Mr. Pink's uses of alien technologies and corrupt Wendy S. Lindley's fit of rage transgressions in sight of presiding Judge S. Anton S. discretion and rightful calendar to assert jurisdiction, 28 U.S.C. Section 636, in so ordering, striking down Judge Ted Mallard West Courts, David Stotler Superior Court Santa Ana's, Wendy S. Lindley and Joe Perez, Collaborative and Drug Courts contentions I say and submitted. 9. Should an FBI deceiver assail here in stating, wage warfare, death, demise of every cantankerous descriptive a war veteran metamorphic can deny ad adigar stipulating said return of the form to the clerk s. I seated, means, authorizes persons of interest to convey in letterhead unbecoming not to psych expert witness which provides the following notes. 10. Return this form to the clerk of the court only if all parties have consented on this form to the exercise of jurisdiction by a United States ad adages celestial magistrate judge. The contention I make. The magistrate judge and the clerk attended I see. 11. Victim, s. alleges violation of plaintiff's rights secured by law, 18 U.S.C. Sections 241 and 242, and Article 3 of the Constitution for the United States and presents a claim cognizable under 42 U.S.C. Section 1983 and conspiracy under Section 1985, 3. Additional defendants being named are A. Dr. Gary D. Lusky, Dr. Glenn Richmond, Dr. Pham, Dr. Chang, Orange County Mental Health, County of Orange, State of said California. 11.5. Defendants, do so lie in wait, and as situate police decision to subdue and offer board and care solutions to decide did obstruct these proceeding s. falsified records, aided and abetment in terror schemes designed to torment and s. regress our solely spirited matter s. in hell-like underworld airspace s. in furtherance of their said joint racketeering schemes or artifice as alleged in complaint, in direct or indirect conflict with statutory law subsequent to the decisions in 186 F3D. 1105, 9th Sir 1999, also. 193 F.3D 1080, 9th Sir 1999. Plaintiff, S. demand for full disclosure per Title 28 U.S.C. Rule 26. 12. Plaintiff demands that all defendants fully disclose the following without delay. Obstruction or denial of the state's, emphasis, to the letter of prescriptions in pursuant copy of their oaths of office, copy of their bond, copy of their insurance, copy of their state licenses, copies of appearance bonds on each case, copy of a list of all their creditors, copy of a list of all their debtors, memberships of all clubs, organizations, fraternities, groups, treaties per limitations of the Constitution, s. names, addresses, and phone numbers of all witnesses for their defense, names, addresses, and phone numbers of any other entities pertinent to this case, copies of any other papers pertinent to this case, notice and demand for non-negotiable, contract with the court as with each defendant, for notice to retain a presiding entity's A&DS safety mechanism. 13. Plaintiff gives notice and demands that since titles of nobility were abolished by Article 1, Section 9 of the United States Constitution, each defendant is required to answer summons individually and separately without an attorney/esquire. Plaintiff demands no third parties on this case, no third party answers, and each line answered by each defendant. Parties, FRCP Rule 17. 14. Plaintiff aka Stephen Arroyo DBA Stephen V. Schaffer, plaintiff, is a citizen of the United States residing within the state of California, the county of Orange. 92,655. Chapter 6. Emphasizing again the parties most culpable. 1. Defendants Sandra Hutchens Anthony Rackakaus Patricia Shute Wendy Bria Wendy Lindley, Donna Sholala, Naval Department of Criminal Investigations, NCIS, and their agency's affiliate, S, Agent Moss, Michael Mullen, Robert Mueller, ABC News owner, NBC, CBS, CNN, UN News, UPI, AP, William Gates, William Cohen, County of Orange Superior and Appellate Division, S, Dr. D. Lusky, Fam. Lindbergh, Gail Lovelace Dr. Glenn Richmond HB Hospices and licensed clinician, Dr. Chang, Telecare Corporation, all sued in their official and individual capacity. 2. Whitcourt and staff, a collaborative in official and individual capacity, Orange County Probation, Stephen Horn, Steve Hoesen, Ron Lowenberg Mike Sellers, John Dugan, Clyde Renke, Huntington Memorial Hospital, Western Medical Group, Royale etc., Dana Rohrabacher, Diane Feinstein, Barbara Boxer, Dr. Gary D. Lookie, Dr. Glenn Richmond, a United States Senate and a U.S. Congress. 3. United States Navy, the counties of Orange in their official and individual capacities, Orange and L.A. County Archdiocese, Gil Coerper, Kenneth Small Ronald Lowenberg, Dana Rohrabacher, are all sued in their official and individual capacity. Hear from our witness in spite of the perjury outfits, did see and undertake either a metamorphosis energy exchange in an effort to digress, empower, kill and caused a. Heinous crimes against humanity such as earthquakes, tsunamis, hurricane terrors, and willful abuse of extrasensory psychiatry. B. The emphasis of oneness with the geological and earthen magma relating casualties in their deceptive privilege abuse. Chapter 7. Certification of Admissibility, Rule 801 308. 1I. William P. Williamson aka Anton and entities, stand by plaintiff in the above entitled action, do swear under penalty of perjury under the laws of the United States of America, that the foregoing is of my personal knowledge, being true and correct, and admissible against all defendants to establish the existence of a civil conspiracy to use the courts as a racketeering enterprise, to use the courts to establish and fraudulent detention practices and judgments, to obstruct justice in order to evade prosecution as contending, abuse of alien technology, co criminee reproach, deed fraud murder, treason, seditious acts of swindle, to submit false claims, ad adage denique tam relator, s award, and do continue to offer a faulty interpretation of this document's clearly laid out description s, accounts and complaints I say. A claimant's due process rights pursuant to the 1997 Amendment of Federal Rules of Evidence, Rule 801 et sec. 2 Appendage done ANDS retouched September 20, 2015 In God's will we trust to these Seek officials Utopian Order PLACARDS ANDS solutions for the purpose of expertise friendship and character assail not. Sues as follows. A. Malicious confinement. B. Medical malpractice. C. Falsifying a medical report. D. Falsifying a condition to punish the taxpayers for unnecessary expenses such as prescriptions and incarceration fees. E. Imposing psychiatric detention and coercion-like tactics in an effort to subdue. Also implicating as agent of these inexcusable behaviors and criminal-like trespasses are S. Cal Optimas, CVS Drug Stores ESQ, MHA, Orange County Mental Health, all psychiatrists who treated my client's rights to contend, including Dr. Gary D. Lusky who falsified records we situate to offer a fight nor duel with FBI in order to see hell like S torments of face nor faith S to discuss abridged lawful reminders of phony baloney ministries indicated purposes of Antzee Dancee's presences I say. I seated. G. $200,000 per annually increments as telepath or relayer occupation S. 20 years lost pay equals $4 million lost revenues. Also punitive and pain and suffering compensation here right S additional $3 to $6 million subtotals. H. For defaming my moral fortitude and character associated ad adages badgered a witness not to pursue legal means of seeking a purposeful outcome. I. Forced psychotropic uncomfortable remedies and prescription medication as well as. Chapters A. Make known to all men by these presents. 1. Do proper, because of wit court's phony reputation and in so saying SASSAULTS, drugging S, incarceration bringing and faulty institutionalizing claimant S reasonable grounds to assert and host for an extraterrestrial biological entity truth-seeking capabilities, undeniably an asset to public SAFETYSWSTIPULATES draft PROCEDURES will continue to situate an reasonable award and FINDINGS be assigned. A. County of Orange an increment amount of not lesser than $7.3 million awarded plaintiff. B. County, S, of Los Angeles is asked to supervise a cause of ACTIONS to RDEFENSES. C. Name concealed to protect the innocent alias Steve ANDS aka Stephen Faith. D. Claimant agreed to drop demand of compensation from stated here under city's said liable coffers, attorneys present. County of Orange award not lesser than $7.3 million on grounds of punitive proceedings we seize. In God's will we trusts. E. City of Huntington Beach $1 million. $1 million even. F. City of Buena Park $125, 000, 125,000. G. Claimant resided in these vicinities who took part in the cover-up and abuses here situated. H. Not lesser than $7.3 million not more than $12 million deposited alike pertains to a county government executable assignment S. 2. All awards exchanges are to be directly deposited to his earnings as tax exempted. Any per diem incentive or bonuses such as luxury items for miracles if ever are to be off limits to federal income revenue collectors wanted and these outcome are to be agreed upon with a stipulation that this master a certificate now enjoys a distinctive privilege and freedom of diplomatic immunity from impending new launches a superior knowledge may had S to situate. 3. Films courtroom evidence exhibits, c. A. www.youtube.com web link. B. www.youtube.com web link. Second film exhibits. 4. Appended this November 2, 2015 In God's will we trusts. The assurance and insurance pledges of all insignias to an emblem including the depository United Nations may be concerted to our address our attention with a pledge we seek to uphold and protect a lawbringer's pretenses our fathers who art in heaven we see may peace be spoken here and now and foregoing. 5. Film evidence exhibits. 6. These GIF formatted sequester photography stated courtroom exhibit situates the accused in the presence of Justices Anton who assisted and clearly implicated the individuals named and here depicted as guilty perpetrators at attention to all we contended. Chapter 10. One letter and transmittal sent to Tom Phillips, County Risk Manager CEO, and tweets to the Board of Supervisors, County of Orange CA on this above and entitled discussion. Dear Sir S., August 15, 2015. We seek punitive damages in an amount nearer wayside toward $9 million. The said accused rely on sequestered internet privileged photography to incriminate the all branches of services in county I reside. We offer an extraterrestrial biological entity's material witness and fact at courtroom where an entity set up in higher court seat decals do biomolecular sabotage and situated a public safety resource not for the iota s we construe for s. See county probation of fraud in every case they service as security internal, no meddling, to that emphasis of seditious acts of treason I see. The citizen I saw get by is an host for entity despite mental health and probation department ledgers incorrectly supervised to our tentative and necessary descriptions. A sheriff department before times does seditious acts of treason to our fit of rage's candor and so there we advise an entity say or I'll be charged with negligent and criminal wrongdoings I see. Seek an advisor nor secret service police to detain ne. Neither accost us for somebody else's advantage nor disobey a color of faulty disadvantage to ethnicities I cover furs. For responsible desertions attended mission VAHOHS in areas of fuss neither executive privileged information nor sick consternation for relators key tam awarded not. I seek liabilities in trillion amounts of but since you're a wheeler and a said act of friendly fire the areas of construe are many to see liabilities assumed by a county escrows units of candid remarks. We situate in 57 years of age due patriotic contention. We were at your attention I see concerting effort in phony reputation brought to an judge's court nearby accusing our intentions for being concerted to the emphasis of pride in our duly describes honors of serving in celestial supervisor at courts ad adages in navy cordons and in uniform construe not just a job seeker's attentions. The subjects of non-negotiation at third-party paraphrases will seek our content to another area of advise the President in uniform reciprocates to our advantage. Do our supply neither counter responses of aggression nor seek another episode to call our friends and phonies at the Sheriff's Department today, ad lib, during live telepathic debriefs at August 15, 2015? The accruement details are open for negotiations as such describe county's good faith relationships with escrow's faulty list of exaggerations I see. Concert attention to these imprinted salutations in a gone to my attention another way Sheriff Coroner's candid and lustful remarks she sues for in underworld expressions of solidarity to knows our attention as to fly coincidentally the work of step-brothers and sisters double sides to live their lives as dunder seeker alien regression concepts for verily we see. Drafts of litigants' legal obligation and manuscript to contend by recessing inopportunitively, countyintrouble.blogspot.com also the and contention to bring up our despictreaty.blogspot.com web link. 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 We seek compensation to the tune $10 million credit to situate. In so cited under insured's records kept we say so situate a reprisal therefore not added in on the coverage's provider's attentions. Will settle with courts ledgers and phony concert attentions not toward topographic cartography or cartoon phenomena on map topography of Africus, a feature to vitalize your sincere accost efforts I say yes. That so be prepared to offer not lesser than $250,000 units of degrees of candor down and s not lesser than $100,000 tax-free annular their approach of fiscal clip this year's ICS. The act or facts pertaining to entities on said map Africa's inter alias cartoon phenomena and the face-like contorting displays of personal characteristics of the accused form an integral part of this legal actionary framework so stated. This and the declared abuses of alien technologies was clearly an attention to describe at all official orders I see, so watch what we seek if preponderant overhauls in nuclear composite alien copyright try our wisdom on areas concepts of regression not taught at El Cajon facilities and all who do fly spaceships in intergalactic areas of research and consider our fates firstly. Done November 2, 2015. May a good word S be entered in your discoveries I see. Steve Arroyo aka Stephen 2 DBA Stephen V. Shopper also to protect our candid discussions, inter alias Steve Faith aka Stephen. 15432 XXXXST number. Midway City, California 92655. 714 XXXX Cell Cal Driver Lick N507 XXXX. To these areas of fuss-sided affordable thank you sir, sincerely appreciative. Chapter 11. Nuclear and WMD Disarmament Comprehensive Manuscripts. DespicTreaty.blogspot.com. Meet Antzee the word. Antzee.blogspot.com. The Despic Accordance 8, DA8, alias Ukraine Compact, English. DespicTreaty.blogspot.com web link. Ukraine Contract, Russian. DespicTreaty.blogspot.com web link. U.S. Senate Subpoena Photography. DespicTreaty.blogspot.com web link. DespicTreaty.blogspot.com web link. Glasnost Debate Forum USA. Plus.google.com web link. Despic Communication, Debate, and Share Forum. Plus.google.com web link. Despic Treaties Series Address Advisements. DespicTreaties.blogspot.com. Despic Wiki Encyclopedia Reported Faulty Facts. DespicTreaty.blogspot.com web link. Despic ABM Treaty Research, Analysis, and Discussion. DespicTreaties.blogspot.com web link. Despic and Antee's Threat Reduction Research. DespicTreaty.blogspot.com web link. Glossaries of supported terms and terminologies. DespicTreaties.blogspot.com web link. Photos. DespicTreaty.blogspot.com web link. Rhyme and Reason site Despic's own original music. Plus.google.com web link. Transmittal to embassies and German ambassador residents of the DDR official business stipulated. Do not contrive March 13, 2015. DespicTreaty.blogspot.com web link. Despic Threats Debate Research Analysis Memoirs Current Events. DespicTreaty.blogspot.com web link. Interplanetary Involvement Forum Debate and Discussion. Groups.google.com web link. Despic The Ukraine Debate and Analysis Pages March 2015. DespicTreaty.blogspot.com web link. Descriptive Encode Conflict Resolution Forum, Sanctified. Plus.google.com web link. County of Orange CA Litigation Debrief Text and Deposition 2. CountyInTrouble.blogspot.com web link.
There you have it. Thank you. I want to press the issue. I want some of these officers to be prosecuted. You guys owe me a little bit of funding and some apologies and a turnaround in policy. Not a fist fight or lip service or more of the same. Now exiting the system. Enter his official business, please. Uphold, protect, preserve, and defend better. Thank you. If you could or would, thank you. That means everyone over here. I don't want to see nuclear threats by people that are on the same side. Same aliens, basically, that want to sodomically regress me is their basic enjoyment in life. Raising humans in interdimensionality, dimensions, to do sodomic evilnesses. Rising the system. Thank you again. May the Lord be praised. May a good Lord be understood. May a word of understanding be understood. May the wisdom of the Lord be infinite. Amen, amen.